Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
You see before you a collection of foot knights.
Yeah.
These are the normal mounted knights fighting on foot for our Lavonian order. Typically the Lavonians would fight on horseback, as would all Holy Order knights. However, usually after a charge you would dismount to fight, because fighting on a horse isn't the best thing to do. Yeah, it really is a pain, it's annoying. And we've discussed this before in videos. So these are troops who are dismounted to fight. Also, if you're defending a castle or something, then you're going to be on foot anyway. So there you go. The figures are straight out of the Deusvault Fireforge Games Pointy Hat Men box. Teutonic, that's it. The Teutonic Order box. So they're all Teutonic knights. Although I cut the stupid hat things off of the knights to make them look like Lavonians. I also used a few helmets from one of the other boxes as well, the Knights Templar box.
Yeah, Knight Templar.
Yeah, you like Knights Templars, don't you?
Yeah, and Swedes.
So I used a bit of a mixture because I wanted to really individualise each figure. So you've got, mostly they're armed with really good close combat weapons. You've got a guy here with a two-handed sword, which will cleft someone in twain. Typically, you would have two guys in front with shields. They would push the enemy, and then they would part, and the sword would come down in between. So he didn't need a shield, because he had two guards with him at all times. So he'd have two men on either side of him. The other troops are armed with swords, which is a close combat weapon, which is a defensive weapon mainly, and maces, which are used to beat people to death. And I think they look okay.
You say beat, so it has to do it multiple times to kill one person?
No, once with a mace.
Yeah, so
yeah,
just a hit
one hit
with a mace.
Yeah, if you get hit by a mace, whatever it hits breaks and it's pretty much ruined.
Invented by priests.
Yeah, originally, yeah.
Because you don't have to spill blood.
Or
so instead,
used by,
you cave their skull in.
Yeah, used by priests during the early Middle Ages. Sorry, the early medieval period. What other people call the Dark Ages, because priests weren't allowed to draw blood.
I mean, technically, as we said in the last video, the bishop, they are priests, really.
Yeah, they're monks.
Yeah.
So they are actually priests, so they can actually do the sound for the dead after they've cut your head off, which is nice. You know, they can, at least you get to heaven. Because if you're killed by a crusader, you go to heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you get killed by a knight, sorry, you go to heaven.
You get purified.
Yes, it's purifying your soul. They really put a lot of thought into this. They reckon that if someone suffered badly before they died, then they got to heaven because they suffered so much on earth, which is why they used to burn people alive.
Yep, because you burnt the horribleness out of them, so you were sent to heaven. Yeah. You saved your soul. Yeah, it's amazing. Killed the physical body, but saved your soul.
It's amazing what you can justify with religion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They considered being burnt alive a kindness.
Yeah, no, that was it.
Oh, that's kind. Thank you.
Justification. We are being very, very kind. Because now, if we burn you alive, slowly, you can go to heaven.
Yeah. So if you're fighting against pagans, then you're actually sending the pagan to heaven by killing him. So you're doing a favour to the guy.
Instant death every night.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's fine.
Knights won't leave many wounded on the battlefield. Because most of the knights' weapons are designed to pretty much kill rather than maim.
Screw the wounding part.
Yeah, don't bother wounding. Yeah, or you can wound them and let some of your support troops finish them off.
That's not how a knight works.
No, not really.
Why let them get the glory when you did it?
These would, about samurai. These are basically samurai. They're extremely well trained, very, very well versed in the art of war. And they will have killed hundreds of people already by the time you meet them. So, if you see these on the battlefield, you don't want to fight them. You really don't want to go up against them. At least I don't. I mean, I'm sure.
It's a group of lads against one.
Well, I'm sure there are people who wanted vengeance against knights because your town had been burnt, or your own religious reasons for going to war.
Still didn't work.
No, it didn't. It doesn't going to work at all. Yeah, knights, awesome. Primarily they fought in the Northern Crusades, the Lavonian order. When it became part of the Teutonic Order, it did fight in the Middle East and all over the place, really. But most of the time, the Lavonians were fighting in the north. Although part of the chapter did fight in the Middle East. So, takes your picks. Depends what you're doing with your own personal holy orders that you make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Painting wise, they're painted in a white clothing because it symbolises purity. Makes you wonder why the hospitals wore black.
They're still around.
Yeah, I know they're still around. But they wore black.
Why?
Probably because it's scary. I mean, that is actually probably the reason they did it. And later on,
at night time, just like suddenly get hit across the head, so we don't know who did it.
Yeah, by the Third Crusade. Let's see, when was the Third Crusade? It'd be the Fourth Crusade. By the Fourth Crusade, the Hospitallers would have been in red.
Right.
Because they changed the uniform from black to red. I don't know why, but they did.
East.
It's
very hot in the east.
Could it be? But then again, they did live in Malta, so.
Yeah, but they went to the east for the Crusades.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's possibly the reason. I don't know, I'm not an expert on this. I haven't looked up the Hospitallers recently, so I'm not going to be an expert on that particular subject. The helmets are all painted in red, but dry brushed over with gunmetal for these ones. I use silver for the officers, but for these ones, gunmetal because it's a lot duller, a little bit less shine to it. Which is a bit different. A lot of knights say some knights would actually shine their armour for the same reason as the Romans. So it's glittering. Their armour glitters in the sun. The Lavonians didn't, probably to make it easier for, not sure, camouflage?
The knights, they don't camouflage.
I'm not sure.
They don't like doing that.
Yeah, knights were sort of, they would turn up and say, I'm here, everybody notice me, wouldn't they?
They're not that sneaky type.
No. Yeah, so that's the knights. They're all covered in mud as well, if you notice. Every single knight is covered in dirt and mud. Their shields are covered in mud. They're really dirty and scruffy because they are doing a lot of fighting in mud, so I painted them like that. I like making figures dirty. Any more questions?
I have 2 questions.
Go on then.
One of them is, do you have to be Christian to become a knight in the Lavonian order?
Yes.
Right. Last question. Could you use any variety of weapons as a knight?
It's entirely up to you. There was no structural thing as to what a knight should use. The sword was probably favoured by the Lavonians because they were the Brotherhood of the Sword. I was guessing it might have had a symbolism to it, but generally you would use whatever you thought you were best at, whatever you were good at.
So you do your best.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's your armour, your gear. Likewise, you could have any helmet you wanted. There was no set design to anything. As long as you sort of fitted in with the rest of the troops, it didn't really matter. Obviously, a knight couldn't use a spear.
Well, no, I mean, come on.
Because to use a spear, you need multiple spearmen. So you'd have to convince a couple of dozen of your knight friends to be spearmen as well. So that wouldn't work. So you're really going for close combat weapons.
Axe, sword, mace.
There's a flail at the back there. Swords, axes, maces, any of that sort of stuff. And it also depends who you're fighting as well.
In the east, knives. In the north, axes, maces.
Yeah.
Screw swords, axes, maces, and even
swords are swords are actually defensive weapons. They're the weapon of last resort. A short sword, not a short sword.
But Hollywood said it's the main
made
weapon.
up. It's made up.
Hollywood said so.
No. Swords are a weapon of last resort. They're a sidearm. They're like a pistol. So you draw your sword when everything else has gone wrong, because you actually use something like a mace or a heavier weapon to actually fight with. Your sword's when you've lost your weapon.
You ever seen an ironclad what a knight with a sword can do?
He's not got a sword. He's got a great sword.
Alright.
So he's basically that guy there.
And so what happened to his enemy?
Yeah.
It didn't look very nice, did it?
No. So
there's two of them in the end.
Yeah, great swords are really, really, really heavy, and they do their damage with weight. They're not sharp. You don't want a sharp sword because it sticks in things. So they're blunt swords, but they're very heavy. And they're wielded with two hands, and they do huge amounts of damage. And you can't use them on horseback.
Well, no.
Because it's too heavy, you break your wrist. Or you just lose the sword.
You break your wrist and then you fall off and snap your neck.
Yeah, you could do that as well. So you could lose the sword, fall off your horse and land on your sword, which would be like really painful.
Well, no, because the sword would be blunt, like you said. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. It would be, because your weight of your armour would basically...
You're wearing armour.
But the weight of your armour would impale you on the sword.
Crusaders aren't that heavy.
No, but you're also a big guy with loads of muscle mass.
Good point.
And it's probably raining.
Yeah, it's raining night.
And you got half a dozen pagans hanging on your cloak. So, you know.
And a couple of dozen over the hill.
Yeah, and you actually trample them. So there you have it. That is the troops. Interesting point. The Lavonian Order could not or did not make knights.
No, you said that.
They couldn't knight. Yes, they didn't knight. But we might not watch that video, so I'll just mention it on this.
We are talking about knights.
Yeah, we are talking about knights, so it's kind of more relevant. So they didn't make knights. They didn't give them knighthoods. So they relied on other knights from other nations coming to them. So knights would leave. I don't think they leave other orders, but they would leave Denmark or Germany, one of the German states, or anywhere in the region. They would come along and join the Lavonian Order. I dare say, if the Lavonian Order would have survived, then they would have begun ordaining knights. But they probably just didn't have the time to get around to doing it.
Yeah.
Probably didn't have time to think, to be honest. They were fighting all the time.
The Grand Master probably thought about it every now and again.
Yeah.
Because fighting's like eating cereal for him.
Yeah. And it was rather auspicious that to be in the Lavonian Order was pretty good. If you got into the Lavonian Order, you were a knight of renown. Because you were fighting in one of the most horrible places to fight in the world. So, and if you were alive at the end of the day, you were good. Right, next question?
That's it.
That's everything. Thank you very much for watching. Outro.
So if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Lavonian Knights.
So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
Ta-ra.